You found a spark in Cannon Catchings that has been just a wildfire for this Georgia team. Getting Jeremiah Wilkinson back in that Kentucky game, I think, was a big spark plug to this Georgia offense. Of course, he is your point guard. If he goes, Georgia basketball goes. Samto Surreal, if you have two guys in Wilkinson and Catchings who can be reliable point scorers, then Samto can play his best ball. His best ball is staying under the basket, getting rebounds, and putting dunks back. And so I think that is your most advantageous Samto Surreal. If he is relied upon as your number one scorer, then he's going to get in foul trouble because he's throwing elbows. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Ham. This is episode 16 here on the Hammy Show, presented by First American Bank and Trust. What a run it's been, 16 episodes. We're redoing the 16th episode because last time we had some major technical difficulties, so we could never get that one out. So there is untapped footage in an archive somewhere deep into my phone. That is episode 16, but that doesn't count. This is episode 16 right here on the Daily Ham. Like I said, we're presented by First American Bank and Trust. Only the best bank in the entire world? Of course they are. They have helped so much with the Hammy Show. We cannot thank them enough for being the presenting sponsor, first off, but for getting the Hammy Show off the ground, taking us to untapped heights, things that we never thought we would be able to do. And that's all thanks to my friends at First American Bank and Trust. So, we're going to have to take a sip of water before we get into this one because we've got a massive episode. Jam-packed show right here. We're talking conference tournament basketball. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is March. I don't know if you've lived under a rock so far, but the sun stays out a little longer in the day, and the warmer weather is creeping back into our lives. That signifies March, but so does college basketball. College basketball's regular season has come to an end, and we are into the conference tournament week. Of course, we have a bunch of the mid-major conferences that have already been going through their conference tournaments, have claimed some spots in the NCAA tournament, but we're going to go through the Power Four conferences and the Power Four conferences, their conference tournaments, So let me take that sip of water. I just held the cup for forever and never took it. So it's going to be an awesome episode. We've got SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10. Jam-packed show, like I said, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be awesome. So first, let's talk SEC. I think SEC has the craziest headlines. It has the most riding on it based on where we stand bubble talk, hence Auburn basketball, where we stand with the number one overall seed, or not number one overall, but a number one seed. Can Florida clinch that? It's looking like they will with UConn not closing out the year too strong. But here's your major headlines that we need to focus on. What we like to call them around here is the ham lines. So the ham lines, my friends, can Florida repeat? Is Golden good enough to get the Gators back-to-back SEC titles? I think Florida is playing the best basketball in the country right now. I think they could beat anybody. I think they are an unstoppable machine as we stand right now. Can that winning the SEC lock up that number one overall seed? I think it will. I think Lenardi thinks it will. I think you can't not give it to Florida based on how they've closed out the year. An 11-game win streak, I believe. Obviously, if they go through the tournament, that'd be 3 more wins because they're the top overall seed. They only have to play 3 games. They automatically have first and second round byes, so they're automatically in the quarterfinals. So it just takes a quarterfinal win, a semifinal win, and a championship win, and the Gators are recrowned SEC champs. So, can Florida repeat? I think Howe is probably the best player on this team. You've got a bunch of bigs. Condon's, of course, really good. Chinlu is really good. There's so much talent on this roster, and they play from top to bottom, I think, the most unified group. It's not a one-man show. If you look at their major stat categories at the top, you've got a different points per game leader, a different rebounds per game leader, a different assists per game leader, a different steals per game leader, a different blocks per game leader. It's nuts what this team is because they play and they share the ball. They make that extra pass, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I really love this Florida basketball team. They're a fun team to watch. And I have watched them firsthand, and it is impressive basketball, my friends. Cade Black, 874 pitching in, says the Hammy Show is the best podcast of all time. Cade Black, you are a longtime listener, and we could not appreciate you enough. Thank you so much for the kind compliment there. Next ham line in the SEC. Can Alabama win when it matters most? We saw them close out the year with a massive win over Auburn that has really hurt Auburn's resume. But can Alabama win when it matters most? Just before that Auburn game, we saw Georgia host Alabama and take down the Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide had a lot of momentum coming into that game. They're the number 16 team in the country, and Georgia just took it to them, scored 98 on them, held Alabama, who is the most prolific offense in all of college basketball, to 88 points, which for them is below their average, which is insane to say, but that's just what Georgia did. And I think Alabama has to get to that level where they can win on a consistent basis. Of course, that's a no duh moment. Entering the NCAA tournament, you have to win on a consistent basis. You have to put a string of wins together in order to be crowned national champ. And then the same thing goes for the SEC championship. They are your number 2 seed in the conference tournament, so they are automatically in the quarterfinals with that first and second round bye. I don't know if I can trust this Alabama Crimson Tide, though. That's why I ask, as a major ham line, can Alabama win when it matters most? Your next one is, can Coach Cal win and reclaim an SEC title, but this time with the Razorbacks, of course. We saw Coach Cal run the SEC for many, many years at Kentucky. Now he's at Arkansas. He's got the Arkansas Razorbacks as the number 3 seed in the SEC tournament. Can they do it, get to that next level, get to that next step, and claim that SEC title, that coveted SEC title? I think Coach Cal is one of those guys, you look back in college basketball history, of course, but especially in the SEC, that an SEC championship matters to him almost as much as a national championship does. I think that gives him an advantage. I think you get a guy like Golden or a guy like Oates at Alabama who have national title wants and needs, and Golden has done it, but I really think Calipari, just because of how long he's been around the conference, how long he's been around college basketball, a conference tournament means so much to him. And I don't know if it means as much to a guy like Golden or a guy like Oates. So I think that gives Calipari the benefit of the doubt, an advantage entering this tournament. And of course, you have probably the best player in the SEC in Darius Acuff. He is putting up prolific numbers that we don't see very often. What he did in that Alabama game, that Alabama beat them in double overtime, like I think it was 115 to 113, the game of the year in college basketball. We saw Acuff put up 49 points in a college basketball game. That is asinine. Nobody does that in college basketball. You see that every once in a while in the NBA, somebody hang over 40, but in college basketball, in 40 minutes to put those numbers up. Of course, they had 2 overtimes where he racked up a lot of other points. But I really think Acuff is one of the best players in the country, and that also gives Arkansas a major advantage entering this SEC tournament. I think your next major ham line is, can Georgia stay hot? I think Georgia closed out the year as one of the hottest teams in the SEC, if not the entire country. You get a team like Florida, who obviously is fighting for a 1 seed, winning 11 straight, but for one of those teams that was on the bubble or outside of the bubble, you look at that Georgia team that finished the year as one of those stronger teams in that category. You win 6 of your last 7, including wins in Rupp Arena against number 16 Alabama at home. Georgia has gotten hot. It was a losing 5 out of 6 game skid to winning 6 out of 7 game streak. So it's awesome to see this Georgia basketball team come around. You found a spark in Cannon Catchings that has been just a wildfire for this Georgia team. Getting Jeremiah Wilkinson back in that Kentucky game, I think, was a big spark plug to this Georgia offense. Of course, he is your point guard. If he goes, Georgia basketball goes. Samto Surreal, if you have 2 guys in Wilkinson and Catchings who can be reliable point scorers, then Samto can play his best ball. His best ball is staying under the basket, getting rebounds, and putting back putting dunks back. And so I think that is your most advantageous Sampdo Surreal. If he is relied upon as your number one scorer, then he's going to get in foul trouble because he's throwing elbows, or he's going to be fighting for rebounds way too much. So I just think with a Cannon Catchings and a Jeremiah Wilkinson coming on strong as of late, it opens up Sampdo Surreal's game. He was just named to the All-SEC defensive team. He is a strong defender, but he can't be that guy on offense. You have two guys in Catchings and Wilkinson who can. Your final ham line of the SEC is, can Auburn salvage their season and salvage an NCAA tournament bid? We've seen all of the drama with this Auburn team. Stephen Pearl, of course, he's fighting for his case for the with the committee to get the Auburn Tigers in. He's even getting his dad, former Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl, on board, who's now a TV analyst. We've seen it all. We have seen it all from the Auburn Tigers. But the Auburn Tigers, my friends, are 16-14 on the year. They are barely above 500, granted. And boy, will Auburn let you know, they've played the toughest schedule in college basketball. It's no knock to them. They had an incredible slate, and of course you're going to lose some ball games playing that schedule. Everybody except Miami of Ohio loses ball games. Auburn just lost a lot more than they should have. And I think with this whole debate going on of if Miami of Ohio can get in, blah, 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 if Auburn has an early exit from this SEC tournament, it is a nix. Get them out of there. They don't deserve an NCAA tournament. Am I saying Miami of Ohio is a better basketball team? I don't know. I mean, they're 31-0. Like, how can you not say it? But they haven't played a quad one opponent like Auburn has. So we're getting into a whole NCAA tournament debate. But I think it boils down to this SEC tournament for the Auburn Tigers and whether or not they can hold on to that tournament bid. As of right now, as of yesterday morning, in Lunardi's latest bracketology update, Auburn is the last team in. So they are the, I believe, 12 seed in this in the SEC tournament. So if they get a couple wins, they get to the quarterfinals, maybe even it takes them to get to the semifinals to really lock themselves in. I think you have to do it. I think that's where Auburn stands right now. We're going to give you a little dark horse candidate. I think it's Georgia. I think what Georgia did at the end of this year, we talked about it, is one of the best closes to a season we've seen from Georgia basketball in a very, very long time. Of course, last year you had that late push that Georgia had, a win over the eventual national champions in Florida that got Georgia into the tournament last year. But this year I think was even stronger. I think this year's team for this Georgia program is even better than last year's, despite having a guy like Asa Newell on your roster. So I think Georgia is your dark horse. I think they can make some serious noise. I think they can have a potential semifinal run in the SEC tournament. We shall see. But let's go to your picks for the SEC tournament. We're taking Arkansas. I love this Arkansas team. I love Coach Cal's edge in this SEC tournament. I love Acuff. I think he's the MVP as well. So there's your pick. Arkansas wins the SEC tournament. They knock off Florida in a crazy, crazy game in the semifinal, I think, is where they would match up. I think if Arkansas gets through Florida, then they win the whole thing. So Arkansas, I really like this team. I think they carry some serious momentum into the tournament. I think they knock off Florida. And I'm not saying Florida's not going to win at all, because I think Florida needs to lose one, just like they did last year when they lost to Georgia and then went on their run after the regular season loss. I think Florida needs that loss. The pressure of winning, I mean, they're on an 11-game win streak. The pressure of winning 3 more on a 14-game win streak and taking that into the tournament where you have to win 6 more games. I mean, gosh, it's a 20-game win streak to close out the year. Can Florida do it? Obviously they can. But I just think you have to lose one, and it's beneficial to do it in the SEC tournament and not the NCAA tournament. I'm taking Arkansas to knock off Florida for the SEC title. Your Razorbacks are back as SEC champs with Coach Cal at the helm. So, guys, the reason we started with the SEC is because we have this little announcement. And it's kind of a big announcement. We announced it yesterday via Instagram, but the Hammy Show on the road is hitting the SEC tournament. We are setting sail for Nashville tomorrow morning, bright and early. We will bring you the best content in the game from the SEC tournament. Bridgestone Arena is being taken over by this guy. By this blonde fro, we will be there. And you better get excited because it's all powered by Hughes Subaru. Hughes Subaru is the greatest car dealership in the entire world. I just went over there yesterday to talk it out with some of their guys and girls over there, and boy, are they just the nicest people in the world. When you talk about service industries like car mechanics, car dealerships, you talk about the people. And the people that have the smiles on their faces and they get the job done quickly and correctly, those are the best people in the world, and that's what Hughes Subaru has. We love our friends at Hughes Subaru, and we would not be able to go to Nashville if it weren't for Hughes Subaru. So huge thank you to Subaru powering the Hammy Show on the road as we set sail for Nashville. But let's move on to the ACC. We have some seriously good basketball out of the ACC. But it's just at the top, and that's the Duke Blue Devils. The Duke Blue Devils are the best team in the country. They are the number one team in the country. I said Florida's playing the best basketball. If you said Duke is playing the best basketball in the country, I can't argue with it because they probably are. I just think I've watched Florida firsthand, so I have that experience of seeing what it's like with my own two eyes. And Duke, they're playing just as good. They are the number one team in the country. Will Duke look like number one? Will they continue to look like number one? That's my major ham line entering this ACC tournament. Cam Boozer is the greatest player in the country. He is your front runner in the odds market to win the Naismith Award for college basketball's best player at minus 550. It's not even close. The next best odds are AJ DeBonsa out of BYU. He's got plus 650. So Cam Boozer is about to run away with it. That's my major next ham line. Can Cam Boozer solidify himself as a front runner? Has he already done that? Can he lose the Naismith Award in this ACC tournament? I think if he were to lose the Naismith Award in the ACC tournament, it would take an early exit for Duke. They would have to be eliminated in their first game, not win a single game in the ACC tournament. Cam Boozer would have to be largely shut down in order for Duke to lose because if he goes, they go. So I think that's the only way he can lose it, and I still think it takes DeBonsa at BYU to have a magnificent run in the Big 12 tournament. So I think Cam Boozer pretty much has it on lock. And if you don't, you're crazy. He is the best player in the country, and it's not even close. Here's his stats. His stat line is nuts. 22.7 points per game, 10.2 rebounds per game, averaging 22 and 10, a double-double in college basketball, unheard of stuff from Cam Boozer. 4.1 assists per game on 58.3% shooting from the field. Just crazy stuff. He's probably going to be the number one overall pick. If it's not DeBonsa or him, they're both top three picks. Cam Boozer is the greatest player in the country, and it's not really close right now. But, like we said, he can lose it if DeBonsa goes off in the Big 12 tournament and Duke gets miraculously upset in the first game they play in the ACC tournament. Does anyone have a chance to knock off Duke? That's your next major ham line from the ACC. Your next three seeds are Virginia, Miami, and UNC. I think those are all three very good teams. I think they will have good runs in the NCAA tournament. Virginia is your number 10 team in the country right now. Miami's ranked. UNC's ranked. UNC took that terrible loss to Duke, but we didn't really have Caleb Wilson 100% healthy. Caleb Wilson is expected to come back 100% for the ACC tournament and into March Madness as we get toward the NCAA tournament. That bodes a huge advantage for the Tar Heels getting Caleb Wilson back. He is one of the most electrifying freshmen we've seen in a long time. He's awesome to watch. I love this Tar Heels team. That upset win they had over Duke earlier in the year, I posted about it last week, talking about Caleb Wilson's much anticipated return. And a lot of people had some bounce back on the fact that I called UNC's win over Duke an upset win. Guys, it was an upset win. They were not favored to win, I believe. I think it was a close margin. They were at home, so they had the home court advantage in the Dean Dome. But I consider that an upset win, UNC getting that win over Duke. I think UNC has the best opportunity to knock off Duke because we've seen it. In the regular season, Duke only has 2 regular season losses. They came to Texas Tech and UNC. UNC, we've seen them do it. Can we see them do it again on the biggest stage in the ACC? I don't know. I don't know because of what we saw in the last week of the regular season was really pitiful. It was a pitiful showing from the Tar Heels. is that Duke just have they elevated themselves that far ahead or above this UNC team? Probably. But has UNC taken a step back? Probably. Because of the loss of Caleb Wilson, they definitely took a step back. But getting him back, I think that adds a whole new dynamic to this team. I will say UNC has the best opportunity to knock off Duke. Do I think they will? I don't know. We're going to get to our picks in a second. I don't give Virginia and Miami a real chance. This Duke team is just dominant on all fronts. One of the best defensive teams, one of the best offensive teams. You just got to look at the team statistics, and it'll tell you that this Duke team is unbelievable. Your dark horse, I went back and forth and back and forth. Like, can you call UNC a dark horse? I think they have the second best chance to win the ACC tournament behind Duke, and it is a large gap between those two teams. But who else has the chance? Who is a dark horse? I don't really want to call Virginia the number 2 seed a dark horse because they're the 2 seed. I don't want to call Miami a dark horse because they're the 3 seed. And I don't want to call UNC a dark horse because they're the 4 seed. So I'm going with your 5 seed, and that's Clemson. I think Clemson's your dark horse in this ACC tournament. They've got some role players that just make plays in big moments. We saw that win for us Georgia fans here in the early in-season tournament, early in the year, but in non-conference play. Clemson got a massive win to win. I can't remember what that tournament was named. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But Clemson got that win over Georgia. And Clemson's a really good team. RJ Godfrey has come on for the Clemson Tigers after he started his career there, transferred to Georgia last year, and transferred back to Clemson. So I think RJ Godfrey offers a lot to the table for this Clemson team. Can that be enough in this ACC tournament? I really don't think so, but you can call Clemson your dark horse in the ACC. Kitty's joining.
Hi.
Hey, Kitty.
Hi.
You can see you in the mirror anyways. We're talking a little college basketball. Do you want to give your take?
I don't have much to say.
Okay.
Right.
I love it. I love it. All right, so we're going to go to our picks. Kitty, guess who we're picking to win the ACC tournament?
Georgia.
They're in the SEC. Good God.
Okay.
That was just bad.
Well, we're going to look at this.
No. You need to get out of here.
Hey, but I want to listen.
Okay. All right, so our pick to win the ACC is Duke, of course. Duke has to be your champs in the ACC. They're the best team in the country. I don't think anybody in this conference is knocking them off. Your MVP is Cam Boozer. Duh. He's the best player in the country. If Duke wins it, Cam Boozer is going to be the MVP of the ACC tournament. All right, let's move on to the Big 12. The Big 12 is probably the most top-heavy conference in college basketball. You've got Arizona, Iowa State. You've got, I'm blanking on every single person. BYU has, yeah, I am nervous because you're right here. You've got Kansas, you've got Iowa State. You had a BYU team that was really strong at the front half of the season, but has won just 4 of their last 13 games. So it's really tough for this BYU team. Tough runnings for them as of late. So here's your ham lines for it. Is Arizona head and shoulders better than the field? I think they are. I think this team is up there with the Dukes and the Floridas of the country. I think they're up there with the Michigans of the country. Those are definitely your 4 conference leaders and your probable 4 number 1 overall seeds. So are they head and shoulders better than the field? They have proven that in the regular season, but these Big 12 teams are really, really strong foes to match up with. You can't take my paper away from me.
Well, I want to say something.
No. So can the Big 12 prove that this is the best conference in the country? I think they are.
Papa joined.
Is the Big 12 the best conference in the country? I think so, because they have so much of this top-heavy talent. It's hard to argue that they're not. You've got these teams like Iowa State, Kansas. You've got teams like Texas Tech, who just lost JT Toppin and has fallen off. But Texas Tech is a really strong, a highly ranked team in the country right now. Who can challenge Arizona? Before the JT Toppin injury, I would have said Texas Tech. Texas Tech was my theoretical dark horse, you could say, because of what JT Toppin brought to the table. He's one of the best players in the country. I think he's 3rd in the Naismith odds despite his injury late this season. But this
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask a question.
Wait, can I hold this part? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what to cook for dinner. Comment below. Right now I'm thinking truffle Caesar salad with chicken. Or should I make pasta?
I don't know, but you just went on and like 5 people logged off, so.
Wait, that's messed up. But I am. Did anyone comment? No. Oh, more people are joining. Okay, anyway, comment below. No rush by any means, but I am trying to prep. So, okay, pasta. Should I do vodka pasta or should I do what kind of pasta should I do? I know this is not the content y'all want, but I need this kind of content because I don't know what to make.
Pasta.
Okay, I'll make pasta. All right, bow tie or angel hair? Let's see.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp.
The pasta that Hammy likes.
Vodka. Okay.
Vodka pasta.
Vodka pasta.
There
All right. I'm going to go do my duties in the kitchen.
All right. Thanks to Kitty Girlfriend for joining the show real quick. That's going to be a great highlight reel for this episode. Where were we? So who are your dark horses? Let's talk dark horses in this tournament. Do you consider Kansas a dark horse in the Big 12? I think Kansas is too good to be considered a dark horse. I think they have the best chance to knock off this team. I was saying Texas Tech would have had the best chance to knock off Arizona, but with the absence of JT Toppin, I don't think the Red Raiders are ready to take that next step forward. I don't think they have the rest of the roster talent to rally and win this Big 12 tournament. So give me Kansas as your next best option to knock off Arizona. I know these Iowa State teams are really good. BYU had a strong start to the season, like we said. And, of course, Houston. Houston was a long time number 2 team in the country, and then they just fell off toward the end of the year. I don't think this Houston team has the stuff this season. So I'm giving you Kansas as your next best option. Here comes Kitty again.
Do you want angel hair or bow tie?
Aunt Amanda said bow tie.
Bow tie. Okay. Bow tie pasta coming up.
Thanks, Kitty. All right. So Kansas, they are not like the best all-around team, but what they have the advantage in is head coach Bill Self. Bill Self is one of the most experienced coaches in all of college basketball. Of course, we know this. He's a national champion. He's got the stuff. He's got the coaching ability to take this Kansas team to a conference championship. But the big X factor for this Jayhawks team is Darren Peterson. Is he going to be the guy that we expect him to be? Is he 100% locked in? Is he 100% healthy? Is he 100% just there? That's the big question for this Kansas team. I think that's what it boils down to for the Jayhawks if they want to win the Big 12 tournament. So where I lie with the dark horse conversation is BYU. BYU and the Cougars, yes, they lost 9 of their last 13, winning just 4 of their last 13 for all you math wizards out there. But what they have in A.J. DeBonsa is one of the best players in the country. We talked about him earlier in the conversation for the Naismith Award. He has the second best odds behind Cam Boozer, but it is a large gap between the two. DeBonsa will be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft come late June, but I really, really think this BYU team has just something left in store. They started the season so strong, 16-1, 17-2, and then it was off the rails for this team. So I'm taking BYU as your dark horse. I think they can make a little run. I think they can stir some things in this Big 12 tournament. We got John Five-Ash pitching in saying UCF is, of course, your Big 12 dark horse. I know where that information, that intel is coming from roommate Wiley, but I don't know what I believe about the UCF Knights just yet. I've got to see them win a couple of games in the Big 12 tournament. Hey, and if you get one of those big-time wins over a top 4 seed, even a top 6 seed, I think they are the 6 seed, so anybody above them, we could see UCF do some magic in March. But I'm going with BYU as your dark horse. I think Kansas is your second-best team in the conference, has the second-best chance to win the conference and knock off the Arizona Wildcats. But your pick for the Big 12 tournament, I'm going with Arizona. Braden Burries is the best player in the conference, one of the best players in the country. I love Braden Burries. I think he's got the MVP caliber kind of it factor in a tournament style play. He's proven it all season long that he is the leader of this team. I really like this Arizona team. I think they are probably in that top 3 range. You could say they're the number 2 team. They are ranked that way right now, but I'm loving what Florida's doing. I still think Arizona has a great shot to win the whole thing, and they're my pick to win the Big 12 tournament. But your MVP is from your dark horse. I think it's A.J. DeBonsa. I think BYU is going on a run, folks. I think they're going to get some big-time wins, and they're going to push themselves with some momentum into March Madness, into the NCAA tournament. I think DeBonsa closes out his season, his regular season and conference season strong, and narrows that gap in the Naismith Award. Like we said earlier, if Duke loses early in the ACC tournament and Cam Boozer doesn't have his best game, and A.J. DeBonsa has a really good Big 12 tournament, a really strong Big 12 tournament, then he could win the Naismith Award at plus 650 odds as we stand right now. So that wraps up your Big 12 talk. Your final Power 4 conference is, of course, the Big 10. The Big 10 has one of the other number 1 seeds, and that is Michigan. Michigan would be the repeat champs if they were to win this year. But here's your major ham line from the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Is it Izzo's swan song? Is this his Abbey Road? Is this Izzo's last dance? Can Tom Izzo, in his final year as Michigan State's head coach, win the Big Ten tournament? Much like Coach Calipari in the SEC, I think Izzo values these conference tournaments a lot more than some of these newer coaches in the college basketball arena. Of course, you want to win the NCAA tournament. You want to win March Madness. But these conference tournaments still hold uber major value. And I think Izzo understands that. I think that gives Michigan State a major spark entering this tournament, doing it for Coach Izzo. And, of course, you've got one of the best players in the country in Jeremy Fears. There's so much talent across the board in college basketball. It's been one of the greatest years of college basketball we have ever seen. So I really like this Michigan State team. That's your ham line. Is it Izzo's swan song? Is Nebraska legit, and is Illinois legit? Those are your 2 next big ham lines entering this tournament. I think Nebraska closed out the season very strong. They're a fun team to watch, a frisky Final Four pick, as we posted a couple weeks ago. Same thing with Illinois. They're a frisky Final Four pick. They took some tough losses, but the story of the Big Ten is the Wisconsin Badgers. They might have the 4 biggest wins of the season. They've beaten Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State, and Purdue, all top 15 opponents this season. Of course, the Purdue win was to close out the regular season. Wisconsin is firmly in the NCAA tournament, but could they make some noise in the Big Ten tournament? I think this Wisconsin team is your dark horse. I've got them as my dark horse. They are such a fun team to watch, and they can win in the biggest moments. Can they string wins in the big moments together? That's what tournament play is all about. That's what it's going to come down to for this Wisconsin Badgers team. So, yeah, come on. Kitty's coming back. Gosh, she is just ready to talk today.
Okay. So, I'm out of bow tie pasta, but don't you fret. We have Goodles, Twist by Parm, that we're going to eat.
Okay. Yummy.
He hates Goodles.
I've never had them. All right, let me wrap up. I'm almost done.
All right, carry on.
Okay. You staying right here to close out the show?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so your pick to win the Big Ten tournament. I think Wisconsin is your dark horse. I think they have a far run in this tournament, but your winner is the Michigan State Spartans. I talked about Izzo's swan song. I think it is his swan song. I think it is his Abbey Road. I think it is his last dance. I think Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans win your Big Ten tournament. Your MVP is Jeremy Fears. He's the best player for the Michigan State Spartans. If Michigan State wins this tournament, it is Jeremy Fears trophy, MVP trophy to take home with them. But my friends, we've got one more sponsor to close out this show, and that is none other than the Vinyl Frontier. The Vinyl Frontier is, of course, run by the Kitty Carter family.
Trey Carter or King?
But the Vinyl Frontier is the best record store in all of America, my friends. It is right on the town square in Carrollton, Georgia. If you're traveling down I-20, pop on by in Carrollton, Georgia. Stop by the record store. Talk to the guys behind the desk. Listen to your favorite music. Figure out who your favorite artist is. Those guys will help you figure out who you like in the music world. They have any record in the entire world in the store. It's all about the experience of going to the Vinyl Frontier. But if you can't, go to thevinylfrontier.com, and in the entire universe, they have every single record right there. So the Vinyl Frontier is tuning up the Hammy Show, and we appreciate them thoroughly. But my friends, that is your conference tournament preview. That is the Daily Ham, episode 16, here on the Hammy Show. I'm your host, Hammy Culpepper. This is Kitty Girlfriend joining in for some cooking advice from the comments. But thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you.
Okay. We're gonna extend it.
No, we're wrapping this thing up.
He doesn't want me to extend that. But I feel like we should. So everyone comment your face.
No, we're done. All right. We love you all, and we thank you so much. Keep listening in. We're going to have so much content coming from you from the Hammy Show on the road, powered by Hughes Subaru. In Nashville, Bridgestone Arena, SEC Tournament, my friends. As always, ham it up.
No.
Yes.
All right, what's your favorite food? You haven't told your fans what your favorite food is.
My favorite food is cheese dip. I've talked about that. All right.
And bagels. Yes, bagels. Don't be deceived.
Oh, great show. Great show. Thanks, Aunt Amanda.